Guiding our weak students to write an essay in the SPM Continuous Writing. Let's take a sample question. This question is SPM 2019. Let me read through the question with you. Write about the day you first met your best friend. Describe where you were and how you began talking to each other. Explain how your friendship has developed since that time. This is quite an easy question to attempt because there are a number of parts that you have to write about to form an essay. Now, let's study the question in greater detail. What are we supposed to write on? And what are the things we have to put inside this essay? Okay. Write about the day you first met your best friend. This is your main focus, the main thing that you must write about. The day you first met your best friend. Now, inside this essay, what must you write? There are 3 parts. Number 1, describe where you were. Number 2, how you began talking to each other. And number 3, explain how your friendship has developed since that time. With these 3 parts as guidelines, you follow them. You follow these guidelines and you will definitely be able to write a simple and good essay. Let's begin with part 1. Describe where you were. What does it mean here? It means when you met your best friend for the first time, where were you? Yes, where were you? Okay, I have given you a number of choices here. Number 1, I was in my new school. Number 2, I was at the bus stop. Number 3, I was cycling home after tuition. Number 4, I was eating at a mama store. Number 5, I was buying food at a food store. Number 6, I was buying my books at the school bookshop. Out of the 6 choices here, to make my essay easier to write, I choose number 1. I was in my new school. Now, after choosing this place where you were, that means you were in your new school, now we will have to develop this idea carefully, or this point carefully. After telling or writing where you were, in this case, in your new school, you must describe a little bit more. That means add in a little bit more detail. For example, why were you in your new school? There are 3 choices here. You can pick one. And how old were you at that time? Again, there are 2 choices here. You can pick I was 7 years old or I was 13 years old. It all depends on your story. And number 3, was there anyone with you? Well, you can choose to write my mother was with me if you choose to say I was going to standard 1. But if you were transferred to your new school at 13 years old, of course you will choose nobody was with me. Write simple English sentences. Do not use big words to describe. In this way, simplicity will give you marks, good marks, because your idea comes true. Let's give a little bit more detail to your essay. Now, when you enter a new place or go to a new place, in this case, your new school, what did you see? Of course, you will see students, teachers, and you will look at your school, whether it is a big school or a small school, the canteen, and your own class. Let's go through each point carefully. Students, of course, that will be your first observation. What were they doing? Talking or quiet? So you form simple sentences. Some students were talking, some students were quiet. Teachers, were they busy? You form another sentence. The teachers were busy. The school, was it clean? Was it big? My new school was big and clean. The school canteen, was it clean? And what types of food were sold? My school canteen was clean too. There were lots of food sold, such as nasi lemak, soup meat, bread, and other things. Remember, simple sentences. And the last point that you would like to add would be your class. Who took you to your class? What class were you in? My mother took me to my new class. I was in one dynamic. Part 2. How you began talking to each other. In this part, you can form questions. Ask yourself some questions. Write these questions down. For example, where did you sit? Who did you sit with? What was his or her name? Did you talk to your partner and why? And then you answer these questions. The sentences that you form, put them in a paragraph. The answers. I sat in front with a boy. His name was Ali. We did not talk to each other because we were shy. Add a little bit more detail. For example, teacher told us to introduce ourselves. How? Teacher told us to help each other. Why and how? Well, you can jot down some notes under these questions, like went to canteen together, went to toilet together, shared our food. After you have written out the questions, now you try to answer them yourself. But remember, the questions that you have answered, put these sentences to form a paragraph. I told Ali that my name was Akyong. We smiled at each other. At recess time, we went to the canteen together. We also went to the toilet together. This was because we did not want to be lost in a new school. Your second paragraph is formed for this essay. Let's read through. I sat in front with a boy. His name was Ali. We did not talk to each other because we were shy. I told Ali that my name was Akyong. We smiled at each other. At recess time, we went to the canteen together. We also went to the toilet together. This was because we did not want to be lost in a new school. Arrange your notes in such a manner from top to bottom. Maybe this way you can see the picture clearer. Remember, this is a story. Make your storyline simple, form your sentences, make them simple, and put all your sentences into a paragraph. This is the third paragraph. With the notes, you form sentences, simple sentences. One day, Ali lost his wallet. He was very sad. He had no money to eat. We reported to the headmaster. Then I lent him some money to buy food. Ali was very happy that I helped him. He said I was his best friend. From that day, we became best friends. So this paragraph, with the help of notes, has answered how your friendship developed. A simple storyline. Now, in every essay, it is always good to give a conclusion, and that conclusion can be an opinion, a suggestion, or an advice. And this conclusion is your fourth paragraph. Pick one. It can be an opinion, it can be a suggestion, it can be an advice, or you can use all three. Okay, let's read. Ali and I were best friends from standard 1 till today. I like Ali a lot because he is kind and helpful. We must value good friends. We must respect our friends and help one another. They will always help us when we value them. This is the end of your essay. So now you have 4 paragraphs and you have done the whole essay written well. This is the whole essay. We have used questions and notes to form simple sentences, and these sentences are put into paragraphs. The question of this SPM 2019 has actually given us a guidance to form our paragraphs. Each part is a paragraph. Please take time to read through. It will help you in your other essays. Let's run through some SPM questions. SPM 2018. Describe a problem you once had while you were traveling. This is your main focus, a problem while you were traveling. Now, what do you write? The question has guided you. Explain what you did to solve the problem. 1. What you have learned from the experience. 2. So there are only 2 parts, which means 2 paragraphs, but it is okay. You always have a third paragraph, which will be your conclusion. You can add an extra paragraph. It is fine. Look at SPM 2018. Imagine you went to a big sports event. Describe what you saw, what happened, and how you felt on that day. This question has 3 parts. What you saw at the big sports event, what happened, 2, and 3, how you felt on that day. So there are 3 parts, which means 3 paragraphs and a conclusion. So you have a proper essay now. SPM 2017. Describe the first time you went on a camping trip. It's a camping trip. You should write about the activities at the camp and explain how you felt about the experience. Activities at the camp. Now, when you go for a camp, there are lots of activities. Pick 2 or 3 enough. If you pick 2, that means you write about one activity in one paragraph and the other activity you write in another paragraph. If you pick 3 activities, you can put 2 activities in one paragraph and the third activity you put it in another paragraph. And then of course you will have your 4th paragraph, which is the conclusion. In SPM 2016, write about your experience helping Puan Ramla, an elderly lady who lives alone. End your story with, I learned a lot about myself by helping Puan Ramla. The focus is helping Puan Ramla. Write down your notes. What are the things you have done or what are the things you did to help Puan Ramla? You can help Puan Ramla by washing all her clothes. Then you help her to cook. Then you help her to do marketing. Then you help her to water her plants. So there are 4 here. Well, you can divide the 4 points into 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs depending on your liking. Remember to form a very simple storyline and form simple sentences. And in this essay, I learned a lot about myself is the conclusion. Yes, this will be your 4th paragraph. Please do try out these essays. Practice them and you will not feel so frightened during SPM. Remember, small steps leads to big success. Our essays have simple storyline and simple sentences, but when we do it carefully and properly, we have actually done the entire essay out. So, do not worry, you can do it. And you have done it by going through this session with me. Thank you and goodbye.